I think the BJP, this is a guess, is 230 seats. I don't think it's going to, with its partners, will get a majority, but I think it will be close to a majority. Now, there's been, that's an improvement from a year ago in terms of both the Prime Minister and the BJP. So what's happened? I think there are three advantages the BJP has that has upped its potential in the polls. What I call the three M's of Indian politics. It's machinery, it's money, and of course it's Modi. In machinery, the BJP under Amit Shah has developed an extraordinarily effective machinery with, poll level workers who, have worked out a very elaborate system of getting out the vote. And then they have the RSS cadre as well, who have helped them get out the vote. And that's incredible. I mean, the RSS cadre, you're talking about 3-4 million people right there, not counting, the people that Amit Shah has organized. Money. BJP has far more money than anybody else. They may have 90% of the sums of money that the various parties have. Now, money can get a lot for you. You just go around the city. Look at where the hoardings are. Who are they? It's Modi everywhere. Everywhere. I have yet to see one, to be quite frank.
If campaigns won your elections, 2004 would have gone the BJP's way.
Probably. It probably might have, yes. Because money can get you a lot of things, both before the election and after the election. We may hear about that after the election, because what do you do to tempt politicians to come over to you? Yeah. We all know that money is a factor.
Right.
And the BJP has almost unlimited amounts of money to do. And then, of course, there's Modi himself. The BJP and Modi himself have been able to, in many ways, turn this into a presidential campaign. It's focused on the Prime Minister, what he can and can't do. Even negative news is, in a sense, positive, because it focuses on the Prime Minister, which I think is exactly what they want to do.
There was another M that prevailed, at least in the discourse. That was Mamata Banerjee, and then there was a Mayawati. So there are more M's in the equation here. I want to ask Lord Desai what his numbers are.
Well, my numbers are very similar as Walter Anderson's, but they have been the same for about 6 months. 230 plus minus 10.
230 plus minus 10.
But I will say one thing, not only will BJP be the largest single party, but Congress will get less than half the seats of BJP.
Okay.
Okay. Again, as Walter Anderson said...
But that still puts Congress party in triple digits.
Sorry?
That still puts the Congress party in triple digits. Less than half.
No. When I say less than half, it could be 70. It's not as less as 1/3. Let me put it this way. I wish it was as less as 1/3. But I think they may just get into 70-80 range. So I'm being cautious on that. But, the opposition had decided to begin with that it was a Modi Hatao election. And somebody said, okay, if I am the subject, let the election be on Modi. And that, he is a master communicator. Look at him, what is he doing now? Without saying a word, he's annoyed everybody by just going to Kedarnath and saying, here I am, look at me, I'm not talking politics, I'm just worshipping God. To go to a temple is also an art, which Rahul Gandhi hasn't yet learned. And Narendra Modi is a past master, because he's sincere in going to a temple.
How do we know? He carries cameras with him.
Sorry?
He has cameras following him.
Modi will have cameras following him no matter where he goes. Whether he chooses it or not chooses it. But to be able to take that risk, last 2 days of the campaign, I'm going off to a temple. Wow. What the communication in India. This is Indian
you sound impressed.
Public. They love it.
Right. We've gathered here to discuss exit polls, but we'll also question the credibility of exit polls and what their record has been like. But I think we still have 2 more guests to go, and I have to ask you what your predictions are for this result.
Well, I'll come to the numbers later. First, I would like to say in 2014, Mr. Narendra Modi was an outsider. He was an outsider fighting against the establishment, the established parties. So, but this time, he's a Prime Minister with 5 years of record. That's a big difference. That's a big difference, and people know what he's capable of, or what kind of reactions he gets across the country. So, And the main, I think the focus of this election is Modi versus the rest. He has made it Modi versus the rest because the others have not been able to come up with a prime ministerial candidate. I think that's a big, minus point for the other parties because nobody is ready to accept Rahul Gandhi as the prime ministerial candidate. And, the third front people are still, working out as to who should be, if at all they get the numbers. So even after 23rd, in case they have there is a hung parliament, they're going to, I think, sit and maybe for weeks together, they'll, fight as to who should be the prime minister. So that has been the difference. Secondly, I think, in this election, Modi has gone beyond his record, what the development record is. If you look at even the development record, I think his performance has been much, much better than what the previous UPA government did for 2 terms. So in 5 years, I'll just pick on, 2 of his, pet projects. One is Swachh Bharat, another is Mudra. In Swachh Bharat, he reached out to the commonest people. I think the 70% of the people who have no access to any kind of, basic facilities, he reached out to them and he has provided toilets. Now it's about 85% of the country is covered with toilets. I think that's a big plus. And when it comes to Mudra, that is the kind of a project where people who didn't have any kind of a security were able to get the funds. About 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs kind of funds has been provided for entrepreneurs, and these are the 2 big things. But he went beyond this, and I think he raised this issue of national security.
No, we'll come to all of that. I want the numbers. I want to go through it one by one.
Well, I think if you want me to come out with a number, I will say the BJP will get around 270.
Okay.
Not NDA, BJP.
BJP alone, yeah. Yes.
François?
So I'm very confused about these elections, actually. Very confused.
That's a good place to start.
I don't know what to think. But because on the one hand, there is a Modi wave, there is no doubt. Mr. Modi is very popular.
There's a Modi wave,
all across. But on the other hand, I keep shuttling between Delhi and Pune and Pondicherry. There is discontent on the ground. I have met people who are discontent because of the GST, because of demonetization, because of the banking system, which has become very rigid and difficult today. So there's a contradiction between the Modi wave and some discontent on the ground. Yeah. And also I feel that Mr. Modi has been functioning in a system that was set up by decades of Congress rule. And that rule is very centralized, and Mr. Modi fell into that trap, which is a very centralized one-man show where everything is decided by one person sitting in Delhi, far away from the south and the center. So there is, I said 240 to 250, but I may be completely wrong. The BJP alone will make 240 to 250.
Right.